Yeah, all of you, just look over here. I'll explain the code, right? Whatever I've written, but let's see in the reverse way. Let's see the output first so that we get the clarity what we are about to start, right? So the moment I trigger this, it says enter your name. Okay, let me put my name. Let's say Hermeet. It says menu, display the name or exit. Simple program, but in a better way. So now we are about to create a kind of script wherein it will go for some sort of menus to us so that we can choose the menu, and depending on menu it has to jump to your specific section. That's it. That's our main goal. So let's say if I'll say 1, the name you entered is Harmeet, or let's say if I'll say 2, simple termination. Is that fine? Simple program. As of now it's simple, we'll make it complex later, but fine. Let's see what exactly we have done in this particular piece, right? See, first of all, we created one function called accept name, then display name, then a function called display menu, then a function called main, and within the main we are doing something. I'll come to that point that what exactly we are doing it, but let me adjust this piece, because in this example a couple of things I have implemented, right? So we'll talk about that. Number one, let's talk about right from top. This is our first function called accept name, right? This is my another function called display name. This is my another function called display menu. This is my another function called main. And here is the calling of the main function. I hope we are okay with that. We'll come to that, what would be there in those respective functions, but this is our glimpse of what we have done, right? Okay, now let's start from main itself. Now, when we are saying this piece, obvious, this will be the calling. So from here, we will be make a jump to this particular point, right? Name equals to accept name. Remember, generally, how we do accept input and then the message. We've removed that style and we go for something called accept underscore name, user defined function, right? So name equals to accept underscore name. So that means there will be a jump to this function. But important point is, are we returning something as well? Yes, exactly. So that means this function not only being called, whatever will be happening, we are returning back as well. But let's see what exactly we are returning or what we are functioning it, right? Now, the moment we say accept underscore name, see the same style, input your name. So we have to put something, let's say Akash. That Akash value we are holding in which variable? Name. But we are using something called return keyword as well, return statement as well. You guys know very well what is return, but let me explain it from my side as well. This is function, fine. Both are same approximately because both are functions, but this is different. Why? Because this function is using something called return statement, right? So that means functions can be like, they are not supposed to return anything like this. But some functions are the ones which can return some values as well. Like in this case, what exactly we are returning? We are returning name. What is there in name? Whatever somebody had entered out there. So let's say Akash. So if Akash value I have entered over here, name variable will hold Akash and then return name. We are saying return this value where this function is being called. So where we have called this particular function, I mean, at this point, this variable will automatically hold Akash. Now let's have a discussion as of now, small discussion. Is that really required that this variable and that variable should be same? No, no, not at all. We do it very well because in that function's idea is we have to return. That's it, and that will be local to that function. Similar, when I talk about this territory, this region, yes, this name variable will be local to this particular section on, right? Now, once I receive the name from the user and holding in this name variable, now there is something called while true, infinite loop. Now, why I'm saying infinite loop, because we know it very well. When we are defining a while, we should provide some condition. I less than 10, I greater than 0, something like that. But as we haven't given that kind of statement, we are saying while true itself means infinite loop. But the point is, if it is infinite, then where is the termination? We should provide that. If we are not providing that kind of termination over here, then it will be a problem for us, because it will keep on repeating n number of times, whereas will not be defined, right? So when you are writing down while true, please be active, very, very careful, provide certain statements. We'll look into that. What is those statements, right? Now, once the Akash value is being accepted and we have received from that return part over here, while true means keep on repeating. Now, what is that keep on repeating? We are saying display menu. So we are saying call this function, means this function, where our objective was to just display this only. What is the purpose of this? Just to give user a kind of menu or kind of option so that one can select. But are we getting any input? No. So the idea of this function would be just to display the options. That's it. We are not getting anything. You can make a shift from here to there also. But see, that's about your programming, right? Now, what exactly we are doing it? After displaying that particular menu, choice equal to input, enter your choice 1 or 2. Because we drafted like that only. If we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then I should mention that also 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, whatever, depending on the choice. Now, let's say if I'll say 1, if choice which is entered by user, if it is equivalent to 1, where I'm jumping, see, display name with that which I have accepted over here. So whatever Akash will we have received over here name, the same Akash we are passing to which function? Display name. But when somebody entered 1, but let's say if I'll enter, let's say 2, elif choice equivalent to 2. Do you remember break statements you must have used in your respective languages is to terminate your loop. Remember? So break is the best way to come out of the loop. So the loop which was infinite is this statement actually, which is helping us to come out of the loop actually. Is it fine? But let's say I entered 5 at this point by mistake or whatever. 5 will receive over here false, false. That's it. Is it fine? So here in couple of pointers we have discussed. Number 1, we can have n number of functions as well. Number 1. Number 2, it is a good practice to give user a kind of menu so that user can select. Like you were talking about, some of you are talking about that you are managing what somebody else has drafted. So you should manage it in that way as well. Hey, enter the choice. Would like to enter IP address? Would like to enter your port number? Or what? Once it's given, start working that. Right? Fine. So just try this for a basic plot. Then I'll come to your another part that, okay, fine. This kind of thing we can implement, right? So try to make it your program when you are in administration, or another way. Let's say when you are about to manage something, I would recommend always give menu kind of system to the end user so that he or she can see what is the demand of the script, and according to the value it has to redirect towards XYZ functions. That's it. Right? So let's have it this function first, this program first, and then we'll start working on the other style as well. Yeah. You can do this also. You can remove these two statements. You can put it on a separate function also, right? That's up to your call, right? To make it more modular. Hope it's working like that, right? Just a small point, right? Just for what sir was asking, or he was just sharing that he has already done in bash. So can we have it over here as well? Yes. See, similar thing with a small change is this. So that means if you want to get into rather, he's 100% right, because rather playing with if conditions is a bit awkward. So you can go with this match choice, case one, case two, case three, case four, and so on, like that. And for to make it a default, case underscore, that's it. Right? So everything is same. So what I'm saying is the way we have switch case, or case is out there in your batch. So we can have it like this also. So match choice. So match is the fixed keyword, but choice is the variable which you have defined. So draft up them and case first value, second value, third value, and fourth, and so on, so that you can give it in that way. That's it. Is it fine? So just I thought because which server was saying that yes, it should be. So I opted for this particular piece, right? Case underscore is equal to else. That is for kind of a kind of default, or you can say as a else, right? So other than these, so it will step into that like that. Like in switch case, in your C++, we usually define default. So here in it is underscore that way, right? You're talking about this one, right?
Right.
See, the idea is we have by this double underscore, it is referring to a built-in system variables, you can say. Okay. Right. So we are just saying if it is having this particular main, only then make a call to this function. By default, see, by default, Python has one variable, internal variable like this,
Okay.
which hold the reference of this. So that means this condition will remain true. So that is what exactly we are saying. If it is true, then make a call to that. Otherwise, we are not making to.
So underscore name will always have underscore name.
Correct. In future, we will learn that how to declare a global variables. We declare global variables with this underscore, double underscore variable, this keyword.
No, I mean, like if it is always same as main, then why are we putting an if statement over there?
Yeah, that is exactly so that we can trigger it. See, this is a traditional way to write down any program in Python because they as of now they are keeping safe.
Okay.
Because this will remain true always, but there will be certain condition where it will be a some other value when you are holding some other reference function values.
Okay.
So then this will be changed. So in that case, you cannot make a call to this main function, right? That is the point. So what we are supposed to is we are saying write a program. Just please take care of that like spell checks and all that, please. Write a program in Python having menu to be displayed. So we have to display this menu for the user, right? So that means the moment I'll run this, it has to display this particular piece, right? Now we should accept the name and then display the menu, right? So first you have to get the name and then the menu and then perform above said, right? Means if I'll say one, it should display the total number of length in that particular name which I entered. If I'll say two, it has to check is it the name starts with H letter or not. So let's say if I enter Amar, then it should say no, it doesn't start with H when I'm saying two. Three, get first letter of the name. Let's say if it is Rajat, it should say R. Get last letter of name for Rajat, P. And when I say five, it should exit, come out of the program. Okay. So similar to your whatever you have done, similar program, but with some different functionalities. Here we are checking about the length of the program, name. Here we are checking is it really starting with the H letter or not. Here, first letter, last letter, and the exit. That's it. Right? So please. First letter would be easier. Length again would be length of the name would be again easier. Might be the trick it is for the get the length of I mean like to pick up the last letter, right? See, one way we can say I can replace it this with this also, right? If I'll remove, give me a second. Can we do like this? Line number 5. That's again sounds fine because it'll give me total length and -1 give me the same piece, right? But Python says there is one more better way, and that way is this. So in general practice, it feels awkward because 0 sounds fine. If it is Hermit, it says H. But what about -1? See, what is before H? Nothing is there. Right. But that's what the Python is all about. Python simply says from right hand side we are talking about. Right. So that means if I'll run this, it'll give me this. Now maybe if I'll start thinking -2, see, it's moving from right hand side direction. Right. So important point that matter is minus symbol. Right. So either you can go with this, which is, I think it's easier, but I'm just giving you one more perspective that yes, this is Python, where you can go with -1 as well. And when I'm saying -2, so from right hand side, it is taking. So rather T, it will jump to E. And that's what it's saying E out there. Fine. So just for your reference only, right? Yeah. The same program. Let's see what I have done. So one, I created a function called display menu, right? Where I'm displaying all the print statements, right? To display all the options. Number one. Number two, get length I'm using, I'm receiving some value from the main so that I can display, I can use this function called len to get the length of the function of the string. We can do one thing also, though I haven't done in this, that what if nothing would be there in the name if we press simply enter? So we are not checking for the null part or blank kind of thing. We should check, right? But as of now, we haven't. So then we have another function called check starts with we have to receive over here some name, and from that name we are just checking with the value, right? Similar for the first letter. Again, we can say that we should check, is it really something in their name? Only then we can fetch the first letter. If nothing is there in the name, how we can fetch the first letter, right? So we should go for that kind of part also, right? But I'm using directly name of 0 to get the first letter. As I said, to get the last letter of any string, we can use -1 as well. So that's why I opted for that. Then for getting the choices from the user, I deliberately took separate function. Now let me show you how it works in the from the bottom. See, name equals to input, enter your name. We have to get the value from the user. While true, it will be an infinite loop. First, I'm displaying the choice, means the menu. Then I'm just asking for user to input some value, maybe 1, maybe 2, or whatever. Let's say if I'm saying 1, then I'm saying if not, we are calling a function, then we are making a value choice as well as name also. I mean, to this handle choice, we are passing two pieces. What is there in choice? Any guess? Would be a number 1, 2, 5. So let's say 1. What would be there in the name? Whatever the name I entered. Let's say 1 and Hermit, I'm passing to which function? Handle choice. Over here. Sorry. Over here. 1 and Hermit. Then I'm saying, what is the value of choice? Obvious, it would be 1. Then I'm saying, get the length of this particular variable. that is Harmeet. This get length means we are crossing to this part, right? Hamid will come across over here. Then we are getting the this function. It is getting the total length of the name, right? We are moving back, means we're at this part, right? At this part. Now, once this if part is over, just see we smartly saying return what? True. So this true will come across over here. Then see that value will be over. If not true, then break. Right? As it is true, we'll not step into this. It'll go out there again. So it says while true back again. We'll again go for the menu, again for the choice. But to this function handle choice, we are again passing two values to that. That's it. So another representation, what you must have done. Idea to have some modularity in the same program. More modularity in the same program. Is it fine? Fine? Right? Okay. I'm putting one separate program, let's say count equal to 0. Printing the value of count. Right? Straightforward. So what we are doing it, we are saying let's have count value as to be as in 0, while count less than 10. That simply says keep on repeating these stuff till the condition is true. So as 0 is less than true, 10, that's true. We step into that, we are displaying the value called 0. Then I'm saying increment the value by 1. So that is 0 plus 1, 1. So 1 is again less than 10. So this will keep on repeating till this condition is true. Let's say at last when I'm saying 9. So 9 plus 1, 10. Is it 10 is less than 10? No. So that's why it will come out of the loop, right? So when I'm saying this, so you can see we started with 0, but we go till 9. Just try this. Just try this because we'll do something in this particular piece as well, right? Of this, number one, I replace that count with underscore I. So it is count I equal to 0, while count I less than 10. Rather displaying that number, I'm just displaying asterisk symbol out there. And I'm incrementing the value of count underscore I. When I save it and I'm moving to this, it will be like this. So rather displaying numbers, obviously it will display me asterisk, but there is a point. Here, all the values are getting displayed on new line. Let's say you want the output should be displayed on the same line, right? So small change, I need to make it over here. So that is what we are saying, keep on continuing the value within the same line, right? So when I save it and when I'm running the same code, see the values are getting displayed on the same line itself. Okay. So if the requirement is that you have to display things on new line, the last one was perfectly fine. But if you want to know, I want to get into the same line itself. So you have to use this symbol, that is comma, end, double quote start, double quote close, and that's it. Fine. Try these many steps, right? So once we step into your count I, which is 0, inside, we are saying let's take it another variable count j equal to 0. So we have two variables, right? So one is count I, one is count j. Two different variables. Both are having 0. Now, once I step into over here, while count j is less than count I, 0 is less than 0. Is that true?
No.
So we come out of, right? Then I'm saying
Plus
plus 1. So we are incrementing in I or in J?
one.
I. So that becomes 2, right? Now when I step into over here again, 2 is less than 10. Okay. What is the value of J back again? 0. What exactly we are saying? 0 is less than 2. That's true. We step inside, we are saying asterisk. We are incrementing the value, right? Of what? Of J. So again, it go out there, right? So 1 is less than 2. That's true. So like that, right? So we come out of, again, the value of I gets incremented, right? So loop within loop. Only point is we are using asterisk. Why we use this print statement, you better know. We discussed few minutes back that print asterisk and this will help you to keep on continuing on the same line. So when the all the asterisk for inside the loop is over, definitely you want a jump from this new jump, this a new jump. So either you can use print backslash like sir was saying, or I can simply use print statement because default in Python, default print statement itself means new line. That's what exactly we are used this thing. Because to be continued in the same line, we opted for this piece. Is it fine? Right? So this is one way of using your nested loop. There are other ways as well. But once we're done, we'll get back to you in that part also. Right? So just try this and just for reference, I'm not saying to you do you that way only, but the best way to work on with this is I would suggest to open up any notepad along with this, right? And you can hold it while like this, cont I, and let's say count underscore J, just for reference only, I'm saying, right? So you can start taking, okay, what will be there in that? 0. Here, 0. Like this, right? Then you can start comparing the values. 0 is less than, then you can say, okay, fine. When I'm entering in this, okay, how I'm going to do. So then I can say plus 1. I can simply say, okay, it becomes 1. Similar, it becomes 2. It'll give you the better clarity, right? So put it on a notepad or on your copy itself, put the values, get the data that how it is functioning. You'll get better clarity how it is working in which particular direction. Is that fine? So just try this, please. First, are we done about this? I think this is just what we were doing n number of times in our earlier days of your C programming, right? Now let me do it in a small change within the same. Let me replace this part with this. And let me save. Let me try. It's asking for name this time. Let's say Hermeet back again. It will be like this. Right? Let's see how. Now, whatever the name I'm going to enter over here, let's say Hermeet, I'm putting that value only. Fine. Now just remember the values, right? So first, while count is less than the length of the name. So let's say I entered Hermeet. So 0 should be less than 7, right? We'll step into that count of j equal to 0. While count j less than equal to, as compared to your program, I mentioned equal to over here. So what is there in count? J, 0. So 0 is less than equal to count of I. What is there on count of I? 0. That is true. That is why H is getting displayed. If you check your program, it was this, and then it is starting displaying the asterisk symbols and all that, right? So one blank line was there. So take care of that. I start using your equal to. So 0 is less than equal to 0. That's true. Print name of 0. What is name of 0? We know it very well. That is H. That's why H is getting displayed. J. So what is that? 1. So what was J? 1. So, sorry, what was J? 0. So 0 plus 1, 1. Now tell me, 1 is less than equal to 0. No, it will come out of new lines.
Second.
Be careful. What was there in count I?
Zero.
0. So now that will get incremented. Now we will step into there. So 1 is less than 7. That's true. But what is the value of J? 0 back again. Earlier it was 1, but now it has been replaced by 0. Now tell me one thing. 0 is less than equal to 1. We know it well. Right? But see, what exactly I'm printing?
Second.
Second character. So what was second character in your name, Pramit? A. We are getting A out there. And once we are getting A, then we are incrementing the value of J. So earlier it was 0. So 0 plus 1, 1. 1 is less than equal to 1. That's true. That's why A is coming twice. When we come out of the loop, we are just displaying print. Count was 1. 1 plus 1, 2. Now 2 is less than 7. That's true. We step into count J. Count J, we initialize with 0. 0 is less than equal to 2. That's true. We step into name of 0. What was that? Sorry, name of 2. R. 0 plus 1, 1. 1 is again less than 2. Again R. 2. Yes, exactly true. R back again. Right? But there is a very small interesting thing which you must have seen n number of times. If I replace this I, count of I with count of J, let's see, very small interesting difference, which I'm sure you must have seen n number of times. Remember? And frankly speaking, why I opted for that Excel sheet to give the clarity, if you get the idea how it is working, how I and J are moving, then you get the clarity easily. Why H or HARMN, those are getting displayed. Fine. So just try, please. First with I only, and then once it's done, you can replace it with your J as well, right? And that was the reason I used count I, count J, these variables. So my outer loop is based upon I. My inner loop, though it is based upon J, but somewhere else it depends on your I also. Right? Are we done with this? Right? Okay, cool. Now, if you look onto this one, yeah, all of you, please. If you look onto this, we done this earlier wherein we started with 0 is less than 10, print asterisk. We were saying we keep on incrementing the value and then we are displaying the asterisk symbol, right? But Python says this. So when I run this program, will give you approximately same thing, but you can see lots of line of code have been reduced, right? So rather writing or purely depend on while or this way, they are saying you can use count I with initial value with 10, print asterisk this into count of I. So this will give you a kind of similar sense which we are looking for. But you can see a line of code have been reduced. When I was working with Ericsson, for 7 days the program went. I remember 4 days it was for the understanding, or 4 to 5 days it was for understanding of the program. 2 days they spent wherein they try to reduce the line of code of their existing scripts out there. And that is what the main objective of your Python, that whenever you are ready with a particular code, utilize the features or functionalities of Python in such a way that you can reduce the line of code as well. Because of the features are these kind of features are available within your Python. Fine.
Is that because Python being an interpreter, why do we really wanted to cut down the lines of code?
Sorry.
Why do we wanted to cut down the lines of code?
So interpreter is a different thing, because interpreter is something like whenever you are done with the program and when you are hitting the program, is it you really want all the errors to be shown or to a specific error to be shown? That is the only objective of interpreter. Now, when we are talking about line of code to be taken care, the idea is, let's say when you are having, let's say, 1,000 or 3,000 or 30,000 line of code, and when you are about to upload that somewhere else on the server or XYZ location where there is a constraint of a limitation of total number of size of your script, then it would be a problem if we didn't concern about
nothing to do with the execution time or
no, sir, nothing like that. At certain level, I would like to add, at certain level, yes, there would be a difference. If you look out to the above one, it's a significant difference. Because when you step into this territory, here is your major work, point second, if I'll think of, you're spending over here, there is no point for that. So I would say, as far as performance and as far as total line of code is concerned, yes, it's making a good difference. I remember I was with some, I think, Coforge, right? Coforge and IIT Technologies, wherein they have done with the entire Django-based project, right? But client rejected around 14 scripts of them, that this particular location, it is taking too much time. Then I was on other training, MVC training, .NET MVC training, but as the project manager was known to me, he said, Harmeet, just spend some time out there. Then we three people sit together on that. Then we found actually out of those 14, around I think 8 or 9 scripts were there wherein they have used this kind of style. We removed it, and I remember not only line of code, but these kind of things, when we have removed, turnaround difference, overall turnaround difference between that time stamping, right? We have checked out, we have reduced around 70%. So performance wise, yes. So we should take care of that perspective as well. So two things, one, line of code, and second is performance. So in that case, I would suggest to go more towards the other part. Like in earlier case, in morning, we were talking about how to get the last letter. So it was simple, get the length and put it across with the square bracket. But they are saying -1 would be far faster as compared to the other one. That's very true. Because first it will check the length and replace that value out there. But when I'm saying -1, directly. So these kind of small significant differences makes a very good impact when you are writing 3,000 or 4,000 or 10,000 line of code. So in that case, but yes, as far as just interpreter, if I'm talking about, there is no difference. But yes, as far as your performance part and line of code, these two things matters a lot. Even not only on this, though it is not related to this, which I'm going to share it. I remember when I was with Jinpak, and then we were talking about some project in risk canvas. It was built upon your some BPMN tool activity, right? The programming language was JavaScript. The other person, he has designed 3,500 line of code, and he has just given to me, ki, Harmeet, just check this code. What else we can do? I started working on the entire piece. Then I found there is no function, there is no reusability kind of concept that person has mentioned in that. From that 3,000 plus line of code, I reduced it. Literally, I reduced it to 144 line of code, and it was flawless in terms of speed, in terms of modularity. It was working pretty very fine. The person was not using arrays, the person was not using any functions, he was not using any sort of shorten based functions which was there in your JavaScript. Like he was using Ajax. See, it can replace with fetch statement. So these kind of small differences makes a very good impact, right? So that's why This is fine that we know about this, but why I opted for giving you idea of this also, so that if your earlier script is doing these kind of thing, try to replace it with this as well. That will give you much more clarity that okay, fine, this can be done by this way also or not. Right, sir? Right. So let's try with this also, right? Just try with this, then I'll let you know one more small change in that. Done with this piece, right? So we just come across with this. Now let's check. Let's check this code back again. एक बार दोबारा देखिए, right? Just look onto this code, please. Now, if I'll run this code, if you remember, it was this, wherein it is asking for name. Oh, okay, that is fine, right? So it is displaying like this. Remember, we opted for that there would be a nested loop. Then I'm saying count I less than length of name. Outer loop is working on count of I. Inner loop, we are working upon count j along with the dependence on count of I, right? Now, if I'll talk about the same code in the refined format, just check. I'm able to skip my nested loop, which sir was talking about exactly. We are skipping one looping as well, right? If I'll save it, if I'll go back to this, we are able to do this piece as well, right? I would suggest to try this. Even in this, we have reduced good amount of line, right? So here the line of code is 9. And when I look onto this, you can see it has been reduced to your 5 only. Fine, right? Now there is one more, as we are working with string. So there is one more way I can say we can reduce more in this same code. That is by this way. And let's talk about that first. If I'll talk about in total, so we have reduced more from 5 to back on 3. But what is working behind? Let's try to understand. There is something called enumerate. See, in reality, enumerate is something like giving iterations to a collection, right? So iteration to a collection. Or what is iteration to a collection means? Iterating or jumping from one element to another, to another, to another, and so on. So what exactly we are saying? Provide the enumeration for this. Now, the moment we are saying like this, it will grab automatically two things from this collection. One, the index numbers, which would be 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and so on. And the second thing which you will take is the character present in that particular index number automatically. So that's the best part of your enumerate. So enumerate is doing the magic to returning two different values. One is the index number and one is the character placed within that. And that's what exactly we are trying to do. See, now compare it. Print name of count I. What exactly it was returning, remember? Zeroth position based character. We are talking about the same thing. Count I plus 1, the value which we are talking about, 0, 0, 1, 2, 3. That's the best part. So you can see from 9, we have reduced to 5. Now we have reduced to 3. That is what exactly Python. Right? So, and this is happening because we are working on your string, and enumerate is helping us in that case. If it is a numeric array, that's a different thing. Is it fine? So this enumerate is helping us to fetch two values from this collection. One is the positioning, other the value available in that position. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, we are getting from this HARMEE or whatever be the name it was, we are getting from here. And this we have already seen in last examples also what exactly we are doing it. So we are just saying display this character how much times. That's true. So when I'm saying H1, it will display only one. H2, 2 times. H3, 3 times. That's it. Fine. So please try this 3 line of code as well, right? For the same.
Enumerate is inbuilt module.
Yeah, inbuilt functional. Yeah.
But, even though we reduce the number of lines, right?
Right.
We are calling a function, right? Which means it's actually increasing the execution time, right?
At certain extent, yes, you are right. But the point is, as it acts as while triggering this for loop, so somehow we have reduced the jumping somehow. So that's why it is good to work on that
But
part.
in both cases, you have a loop. There is while loop and you have for loop here.
Yeah, that is
You
what
have two
exactly.
loops, but you are calling an extra function over here. In this
Yeah, but if you check it out, right, so there is no need to get into a separate variable specification.
yeah,
So
yeah,
one
it's
memory
easy to
space,
write.
in that case, yes.
Easy to write.
Yeah.
Is it because it is coming with the inbuilt module? That's no more ask. Like, is it because of inbuilt module the time is less? If it is an external module or something which we are importing, will it take time?
So definitely. But even I would be agreeing on your part, even if it is inbuilt module, it will definitely fraction of seconds, right? Or specific time stepping will be extra. That's very true. But as compared to the loop, this will people will prefer this. And I have seen many times referring to for loop having this kind of n operator or these kind of operators, enumerate operators, people feel this would be far faster as compared to the early one. There is a reason. I'm sure you must have heard in JavaScript there is something called indexers. It is working behind that. Because of that, it is a bit faster.